like that first and foremost.
It's the
This
Power
is a
7
different era.
podcast show.
Rock music went through this too with the whole going to trial for their lyrics. So this isn't just a rap thing. I don't want people to think that. Although we want to talk about rap, I want to convey that this has happened in other genres. When heavy metal, rock music, when kids were killing themselves and they were doing really violent things, it made people, it made people go to court because they were going to court for their lyrics. So this isn't nothing new. Anything you do, anytime you do something extreme music or vulgar music, they're going to use your lyrics against you. And it was a little easier in my generation than your generation because they had people to say, look, you can't have 1 foot in the street and 1 foot in the rap game. And by what I mean by having 1 foot in the streets, I mean not just, procuring yourself a little bit of weed or, maybe a little coke or whatever, but I'm talking about like you moving coke, you still actively in your local gang lifestyle. I mean, you can rap about it, but you can't be doing it. Snoop went through it, and that's the thing, and one of the last big cases they had was with Bootsy. You know how long he did in jail. Bootsy has said many times on Vlad TV that they played a whole day of just his music. And, to the outside ear, if you don't know nothing about rap music, whether it's an art form or not, you hearing all these songs about, I'm a killer, don't try me, I'll put you in the dirt. And you want to try for murder? Well, yeah, that's one thing. Well, they can say, okay, this is an art form, but it's the difference when I get up there and I say, Boozy got shot, the Pookie got shot last week with an AK, and I can look at the song and match it up with the what's the name? Now that's a little different. That's a little harder.
With the murder, or yeah,
or the drugs, or they're like, okay, I went to Cali and picked up 15 keys, and so happens that some of the keys that they were referencing may have got picked up. So yeah, I mean, it's a difference when you're just rapping about it and then when you're actually still living.
Here's the thing for me. Okay, I understand that when you are doing an art form, music, when it comes to music, and you're a person that's a lyricist, writing lyrics, that you want to express yourself about your life. However, if you are dealing in illegal things in your life, you should not be rapping about that shit. You shouldn't be rapping about it. You shouldn't be having to be recorded. And even if you are going to rap about that, how about you have enough imagination to where it's not something that you were directly involved in? Not even only that you were directly involved in, that other people are involved in. Because I believe that some rappers nowadays, some of these young rappers that have gotten killed, I think they might not be rapping about their lives. They might be rapping about other people's lives and actually telling true stories.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help. And I think that's got some of them killed.
Yeah, and it goes back to the suspension of reality. I always tell people to say, I don't need my rapper to be actually living. I like the suspending of reality. But the problem is, a lot of these rappers feel the pressure to actually live this lifestyle while they're still rapping on it. It's almost like you a rapper, like you're a multi-millionaire rapper, but you're still rapping like you're a local rapper where you still got to be in these hoods. No, you don't have to be in these hoods every day. No. Nobody's watching hood. Nobody's watching the Come Up DVD no more.
Right.
You did your time in the hood. It's time to get out. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people are ready to accept that. And, like I said, you're not going to get, and the jury of your peers are not your peers, let's be honest.
No, never.
If it was the jury of your peers, you would have middle-class Black people, low-class Black people who are in hoods who can act like, okay, you're not really doing, they have an understanding of the situation. Whether it's like, if me and you were on a jury and we're doing with some multi-billionaire who deal with money and finances to understand how money moves, well, that's out of our league. We're not a jury of his peers. I mean, we may be his age, we may be, a different race, but yet again, we're not doing this.
Right.
I do think that, you know, using rap lyrics is a form of swinging. You know what I'm saying? You can have circumstantial evidence, and that's circumstantial evidence. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
You can say, okay, you know, Nick Nash wears red in every one of his tracks. And because he's wearing red on every one of his tracks, and he has Big Bubba over here, who is his man, that he's the blood, well, clearly, you know, they're making inferences. And then when you out here, you know, talking about you in this gang, you know, we all know nobody's stupid. They know if you say you're rapping the gang, especially if you say, okay, I'm repping the Bloods, that's one thing. But if I'm saying, yo, I'm representing the non-Trey Bloods, oh, now we know not only are you repping Bloods, we're repping this set, but let's see what this set is doing. And if this set is doing this and you're still actively talking to these people, not just calling them saying it was good, everything good, you're actively being a part of the gang lifestyle. You're in meetings, and you're going to get caught in the Rico statute. And because you have all of this money and you are able to finance a lot of stuff, they're going to say, oh, well, he's the financier because he has the money, he has the power, because he has the money and the power. That means he's the boss. So that means if we cut him down, everybody else is going to fall. But that's not always. Didn't they not learn anything from BMF?
No.
And
but BMF, they weren't rappers though. They weren't rappers.
But they were living like rappers, and they wanted to legit become rappers. Like, you know.
So do you think that the DA, when they prosecute these guys, are they wrong for using the rap lyrics? Or are the rappers wrong for talking about actual street politics in their lyrics?
No, because I feel like this. If I'm a boxer and you're a boxer, right? Mm-hmm. And you know that every time I swing, I drop my elbow, and you use it to your advantage to beat it. I'm a prosecutor. My job is to paint a picture. I am a prosecutor, and a defendant is nothing more than an artist. They're painting a picture for you to believe that this is the truth, whether it's true or not. So if I need to use your lyrics against you, then yes, I can't fault them, because I mean you've basically laid out a trap for yourself. So I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it, but at the same time, if I was a lawyer, I would use it. Why wouldn't I?
Right.
You know, you in every track talking about I'm a killer, I'm a savage, I'm sliming it up, I'm bloodied up, and I'm cripped up, I'm GD'd up, I'm Pyru, whatever. I'm 7 Mile Stumper, I'm from Joy Road, or whatever you want to say, man. Like, yes, I'm using that against you. I can't fault them for using it. Is it dirty practices? A lot of times, yes. But at the same time, I can't also be mad that it would be different if their lyrics weren't lining up with the stuff that was doing.
Right.
And that's where the problem comes in. As you actually talk about stuff, you actually either you're doing or your man's in them doing. If I was his man, I'm like, why am I in your trap?
Right, but my thing is, why does that have to be a part of what, quote unquote, the culture is?
Because it's real rap. That's the worst thing that ever happened to rap, is being real rap. People don't want the kayfabe anymore. I'm using wrestling terms. People don't want kayfabe. People want you to really be out here living that life. And because I've talked to a couple of my young friends, and they was like, "Oh, I was like, I love Rick Ross. Oh, well, he was the ex-CEO. He really ain't living." I'm like, I don't care what he's living. I like the fact that he raps about it and he's painting a vivid picture, and it's cool. I don't need my rappers to be out here actually selling the dope and slapping niggas and murdering niggas. I don't need that, because if they're doing that.
My thing is, the whole keep it real thing didn't mean talk about, I mean, you, like I said, when it comes to expressing yourself with lyrics, you can talk about your life, but if you're doing illegal activity, you don't have to talk about that. You can talk about, there's a whole bunch of things that rappers can talk about that's real life and that makes them real, that doesn't have to involve any illegal activities that they've done or might be doing at the time. That's not what makes it real. What makes it real is you being yourself. You can talk about a whole bunch of other stuff that doesn't have to do with anything illegal, anything that's illegal that's real.
I don't understand. What I don't understand is, Biggie was in that situation where Biggie was really taking trips still, and Puffy had to pull him like, you can't do that. I mean, how long we been rapping about the hip hop police?
About what?
The hip hop police. So I'm like, I've always heard about it. I thought it was kind of like a whatever thing, but even if I felt like it was kind of wasn't real, I'm like, nah, it might be real now because I mean, you are actively talking about these things that are happening, and
hey, did y'all hear a loud crash noise?
no, you okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh. No, so they're actively living this lifestyle. It's kind of hard to do, you know what I mean?
But they actually snitching on themselves.
But you got self-snitching is a very hard thing because you got to keep it real.
But they actively self-snitching. They're not making it hard. They're actually talking about like, what's the dude, Barbie Smurder. Not only did he get locked up for a song he made, he got other people locked up.
But because he kept it solid, he did his 7. He's getting the flowers for what he did. And
but he actually talked about crimes that were committed on record.
But my friend always used to say, why are you rapping about stuff that, what was it? How did they say it? God, I can't think of the word. How did they say it? It wasn't that they were rapping about stuff. It was, God, I can't remember. I just had a brain fart. One too many drinks already. So, I'm gonna get over to this weekend. All right. I'm gonna text. That's good. Yeah. They were actively talking about, not self-snitching so much, but like self-snitching is a real thing. I mean, you're snitching, but you're not. You're supposed to not snitch, but you are. You're not supposed to talk about this stuff. You're not supposed to be actively still doing it. But you are. So it's kind of a double, like, you making it easy for the prosecution. They ain't even got to do the work. Oh, what was it? My friend said it best. Shout out to my friend. If you ever listen to the podcast, shout out to you. You know who he was. He said, listen, my job as a criminal, the police job is to catch criminals. My job as a criminal is not to get caught.
Exactly.
So what are we doing?
They're getting caught.
You're getting caught because you self-snitching. The DA ain't even got to do much work. They just got to listen to your music. And it's one thing if it's you're rapping about something that you're not necessarily doing anymore, and some kid feels like they want to go do it. That's one thing. It's another thing when you are, actively talking about stuff that you're doing. Like I caught a body about a week ago, and nobody's telling you, hey, you're a famous person now, so you got a target on your back because they want to know why in the world you're making all this money. We know how much you can tell how much people are making from shows. Any promoter, any good promoter can tell you how much a rapper is making for a show.
My thing is, I'll say this though, in regards to everything you said, as a writer, I believe there's a way to tell a story or to talk about things that are happening without actually saying what actually happened. Like you can tell a story that can be a true story without it actually being what actually happened. There's a way to do that as a writer. And if you have an imagination and if you are creative as a writer, you can tell a true story without it actually being
a real life event.
A true story. Because they do it all the time. They do it in the movies. All the time. All the time. Mm-hmm. Especially if you already involved in that lifestyle, there's easy ways to tell a story that ain't gotta be some shit that actually happened. To me, I think these guys are being uncreative. I believe these guys don't have an imagination. They feel like that's what's supposed to be being done. Mm-hmm. And I guess a lot of things that play in a part, especially now, because it's happening so much now, a lot of us older guys that might be around these young guys aren't really telling them to fall back. there's a lack of guidance.
Mm,
And there's lack of guidance because there's before, like I said, Sibo was the first rapper I know. Sibo out of Sacramento, California. He was the first rapper who got convicted off of his lyrics.
yeah.
Now, if you're somebody older and you got a young guy, because most of these young guys that are getting locked up behind their lyrics, there's somebody older that's their manager,
Yeah.
that's getting them their deals, that know better. They're not guiding these guys in the right direction. They're just letting them, say that shit. You're gonna get some money. You're gonna get the fame. Go ahead and say that shit instead of being like, hey, this really happened.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you not to say that shit on record. Don't say that shit on wax. They're not being challenged. They're just being able to say whatever and that's selling. And I think that's bullshit. I think the guys that are managing these guys that are actually promoting them and actually putting them on aren't guiding them the right way. And that's another thing.
Now,
I know
do
it's
feel
not
like
their
this.
responsibility, but once you take on these artists and you want to promote them and make money for yourself and make them some money, you should have a little bit of say telling these guys, hey, this shit is true. You can't put this out. You're gonna have to fall back with that. We can leave it in the cut, but we can't put this out for the public to be listening to.
Yeah.
And I think that's another problem. Because I was checking out Nav Hoffa, his podcast, and I think Royce was on there, and he was talking about how people, artists, when the older guys, or older people get these artists, that they have a responsibility to guide these guys in the right way. And I agree with him in some ways on that, because if you, like I said, a lot of times when it's an older person taking on these artists to put them on, it's a mentorship involved. And if it's a mentorship involved with these guys, you should be telling them, hey, we can't put this out if it's true. And these guys know that. And they're just trying to come up. And that needs to be checked. These guys are doing it thinking nothing's gonna happen. But now we're starting to see, and hopefully, because it's happening, hopefully we'll start to see that it'll change because it's happening more often. Like I said about Sibo, when he got locked up for his lyrics, this was like in 1994, maybe 95. That was the first time it happened.
Yeah.
So then you fast forward 20 years later, 30 years later, and it's still going on.
Yeah, it's still going on. And I mean, rappers, it depends. Like I said, I don't think in certain situations we can use. I feel like if their lyrics are not actually beneficial to the case, like you can't say most of Meek Mill's lyrics, you can't really take and use and say, oh, he, what I mean. But I do feel like if they can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that these lyrics are actually showing that real crimes are happening, then yeah, I have no problem with you using their lyrics. But if their lyrics are not actually showing you anything, why the hell we have any lyrics in the track?
Well, they do.
Well, I mean, no, because when Meek Mills went, it wasn't because of any good court case that was going on. It just wasn't. It wasn't because of good. Meek Mills doesn't really rap about what he's actually doing. He's rapping about stories. He's telling stuff. There's nothing really criminalistic in it. Now, some of these newer rappers, they're talking about stuff, and then, if I could say, listen, this track plus this wiretap equals this murder. Yes. But if you wiretap him and he's not saying anything criminalistic, because I mean, I'm pretty sure they got Meek Mills on wiretap, and he's not, actively dealing with real criminals, then their track can be used. I mean, I want to stay on the topic of how to use the track. If this track can be proven that he either knew or he participated and or he called a hit out, and you can generally pull out, okay, this hit was because of this, then yeah, because a lot of rappers are putting in what they actually doing. But you playing a whole album that he did about some murders that don't mean nothing, that's wrong. I can't co-sign that.
I mean, it definitely is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
It definitely is a slippery slope. Because you're right. Somebody could be telling a whole imagination story. You're gonna try to use that against them. So it's definitely a slippery slope.
It is. And I'm not saying that, like, and yet again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't use. I mean, I can't be mad at him for using it, but I'm also saying if these lyrics are actively helping you with the case, then I can't be mad at you, because I mean they basically self-snitched on them. But if you're using these lyrics to paint a picture about a man who's really not doing any of this, I can't co-sign that. I won't.
No, definitely not.
Because I felt like when they did Meek Mill stuff, if you can tell that this person isn't really doing anything, but you're just gonna use his lyrics to paint this picture of this wild stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, these are not, for the most part, especially when you have a murder case that you're saying that they committed. These people are not people that you will walk down the street and not notice. You know what I mean? Like some of these rappers, you like. If I saw King Von, like, God rest in peace to King Von, but I've seen King Von so much on TV and news, I know what the hell King Von looks like. It's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, I didn't see King Von there because I know what the hell King Von looks like.
No, but that's not true, because I didn't know who the fuck he was until he died. I never knew who he was.
But I mean, more likely when they're doing these situations, they're dealing with people who see them all the time, who know their lyrics. You know what I mean?
Okay, but now we live in a time where everybody has their own vacuum, right?
Yeah.
So everybody don't know who everybody is no more. Like I said, I didn't know who King Von was at all.
But I mean, like, okay.
Or Pop. No. This is what I'm saying. There's a vacuum now, whereas before, there's a little bit wider spread and everybody might know. Some people are popular just within their lane. Everybody don't know who everybody is. So when everybody don't know who everybody is, you don't know, and you bring that shit forward, some people are gonna judge because they don't know. I didn't know who King Von was until he died. Even this guy Mo3, I didn't know who he was until he died. I didn't know who a lot of these guys were.
The only reason I knew Mo3 was I knew Mo3 because he did a lot of Vlad interviews. I knew King Von because I was listening to some of his music. I knew Pop Smoke because I was listening to some of his music. But even within that,
you know? But the thing is, do you know how many people don't know who they are? A lot of people don't know who none of them is.
But that's what the that goes back to a jury of your peers. You know, if you don't know these people and you have a jury of your peers, you don't know who King Von is. Like you said, you've never seen King Von a day in your life, and you're a juror, and they're like, okay, we're gonna play King Von music for like an hour and a half. You've never seen him, and you're like, wait, well, damn, this is what he rapping about, and you got this. Yeah, this is easy connect. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. Because now we have a vacuum where everybody's in their own lane.
Yeah, and
everybody listens to whatever suits them. So if that don't suit you, and you throw on his records and you putting his case out there, it's gonna be easy to be like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be a jury of his peers?
Yeah.
But we're gonna find a whole bunch of 21-year-olds that listen to King Von.
I mean, technically, you should. If you want to be honest, a jury of your peers should look like you.
They should look like you, but that don't mean they're gonna be your age.
But how that a jury of my peers, Ernie? Like me and you are close in age, but if we have a bunch of 40-year-olds, the jury of my peers.
So I got on it. I'm not gonna jump in flying. You just got the craziest.
Is he rapping?
You on the podcast? Uncle?
Tell him, Ernie, you got dual.
I got two.
You got two uncles?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, tell him we're gonna do a podcast. Tell him I'm gonna get him a mouth. I do a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump off flying.
But yeah, I can't co-sign that. I cannot legitimately co-sign. When I hear jury, your peers, it's never your peers. Your peers are supposed to be people around your age who are in the same demographic. That's always, I know we're going off the topic, but that's always bothered me.
No, it's not off the topic. That's definitely on topic. Jury or your peers, you're right. Your peers should be people from your demographic, your age.
I noticed that was a problem especially back when we had younger black
However,
people.
I'll give you some pushback on that. If you're a criminal,
yeah,
how the hell you gonna have a jury of your peers?
People are you don't get other criminals. So with that, okay, think about it like this. When black people in the 60s and 40s and 30s were going up the trial, they would have nothing but all white jury. That's not a jury of your peers.
No, that's not a jury of your peers.
And a jury of your peers would be people who are in the same, even if they're not in the same hood as you. I would never do the same hood, but people who are in the same financial bracket as you. I would even say, if you're from the hood, whatever. But you can't be out here. But I mean, I also understand jury of your peers cause the issue, because if you have a jury of your peers and you know they're all black, there's a good chance of possibility they may be a family member, somebody you can threaten. It's kind of a hard thing to have a jury of your peers. Jury of your peers is not a jury of your peers. It's just a bunch of motherfuckers that's living in your city. That's what they consider a jury of your peers. The word peer doesn't mean I need to get a whole bunch of 21-year-olds who are living. That's a jury of your peers. If you're 21, there should be 21 jury of your peers. What, non-jury people? Whatever. You should be the X amount of.
So what you're saying is, if you are a 21-year-old on trial and you're black or white or Mexican, the jury should be exactly that?
They should all be your age.
Or it should just be the same age?
Yeah.
And from the same background?
No, because the same background causes issues.
But just the same age?
Yeah, just the same age. Because, I mean, Well,
when you say that, if they're the same age, that don't mean they got the same come up with the same understanding.
But you want to make sure that your jury is bipartisan. It's split down the middle. So, you don't want to have a bunch of dudes, 21, all living in the hood. No, because it's going to be a little hard.
I agree with you, but you know what? The DA never does that. So
no,
I had jury duty one time. I had jury duty. I heard the case. It was about a man killing a woman.
Yeah.
The DA and the prosecutor, they broke it down to everybody. And you know who all got selected for the jury?
All women.
All women and one male.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, too,
so the thing is, the DA is gonna pull to what's going to be their advantage.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of chess moving even within that. Even when you pick a jury, you want to, if it's a woman beating case, you're gonna want to try to get as many women on the trial as you can.
But
Now,
them ain't peers. Them ain't peers.
yeah, then you remember, if I'm a lawyer, I want to make sure I get as many people that are going to seem where they can side with me. In certain situations, you just can't. There are certain situations where a jury, your peers, is just impossible to getting, and you just have to have a good lawyer, and they have to have a good case. I can't say anything else on that because there are some situations.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that. I think that having a jury of your peers, I think that shit is it's a slippery slope. I think that shit is a slippery slope.
Yeah, it is.
You think about the word peer, your peers are somebody that's on the level that you are on.
Yeah, but okay, so with the Young Thug case, one thing about the Young Thug cases that people forget is that Atlanta was never a violent city like that. Atlanta was violent, but Atlanta was never this violent.
Hold on, say what?
Atlanta was a violent city, but Atlanta, from what they're saying, that Atlanta was violent, but it was never this violent.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, what they're saying is, what they're trying to say is, because this rapper and this crew that they're running, they have upped the murder cases. And yet again, it's not about them selling drugs. That's not the issue. The issue is that they run around murdering people.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with them doing non-violent crimes. These all have to do with them doing extremely violent crimes, and Atlanta's not tolerating. So of course they're gonna start doing the RICO cases. Of course they're gonna start matching crime to what you're saying. And not to mention, you dealing with real street dudes, and you was on wiretap. It's a wonder that Jim Jones didn't get trapped up in the whole Trey 9 thing. Coming out, they need to violate him. You are just as guilty as, implicating somebody to do something is just as guilty as you basically saying it. Like if I say, yo, he need to get violated. I've said it, I may be putting it out there, but if somebody does it, I could easily be like, well, you said it, and because you're older than him, because you're an OG, you basically gave him the green light to violate somebody, even though you said he needs to be violated. Just because you worded it a certain way doesn't mean that it doesn't free you from implication, and that's what a lot of rappers forget. Because you can go to jail for conspiracy to commit murder just as much as if you actually plotted it. So, a lot of these rappers, I would suggest, if you got drug dealer friends, when you're on the phone with them, you need to keep that about just how y'all doing, real nonchalant culture shit. You should not be talking about what they got going on. And yet again, if I was in the drug dealer, I wouldn't want no rapper friend. Now at this point, they gonna get you in jail.
But it wasn't always like that.
No, it wasn't. No.
It wasn't always like that.
That whole real, like you said, the problem came in that when people started misinterpreting real rap is and saying be true to yourself, not talk about what you actually doing.
Yeah.
If you were an XD boy in some capacity, you can talk about you being a kingpin, but you never was a kingpin. You can talk about street stuff because you were a street dude. You can't thus still be doing street shit. That's just what it comes to.
Now you can't. That's the thing though with the whole Young Thug thing is he was still doing street shit. And if he wasn't actually doing street shit, he was funding it. Then he got phone calls, wiretaps, where he's funding shit.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's definitely a problem. So that changes. Are you really a rapper or are you really just still a gangster?
You're both. You're trying to. The problem is you're trying to toe the line that's not meant to be told. You know,
Yeah, you can't toe that line.
It's kind of like the whole Christian thing that we learned, and it's kind of weird how it works out today. You can't be lukewarm. If you're gonna be a Christian or you're not. You're either gonna be a rapper or you're gonna be a drug dealer. You can't toe the line between being both.
Can't toe the line.
You know, and you know, you can't be like one rapper that was keeping it real went too wrong was with AR AR would have videos and he'd be like, yo, I got $1 million sitting right here and this ain't from rap money. Well, how the fuck did you get $1 million? And then even if you know he lost, if he would have went over there and showed some remorse and didn't try to be a cold-hearted killer gangster, he wouldn't have got 45 years. He would have got 20 years, 10, 15 years. But because he wanted to be, quote unquote, he wanted to live what he was rapping, that judge said, well, fuck it, you don't need to see a lot of day for 45. I'll see you in 45 years.
There ain't no God. There's not any guidance. There's no guidance for these guys a lot of times.
But honestly, I can't be mad at the guidance. I can't be mad at the guidance because how many rappers we know?
No, I'm saying there's no guidance. There's no guidance.
But think about it. It starts off from the record deal. How many rappers we know been getting dicked out of getting dicked around on their deals, and they know good and well that they man's has been in the rap industry for 10 years and they don't give them no pointers. It's almost like you have to go through trial by fire. You have to get dicked around your first deal. Everybody who signs to Diddy know Diddy a jerk. Diddy gonna fuck your shit all the way up. But people still consider his sign it. Like Loom, Kevin, what was his name? What's his name, Ernest? He was a rapper around your time. I know you were like. He joined that cult in South Carolina.
Craig Mack.
I believe, and I also believe this to my heart of death. If Biggie would have lived, Biggie would have been in the same situation that a lot of them other rappers were, where they can't.
You think so?
Yeah. Diddy was about to let him go.
I think he was already working on it. So check this out, right? None of Junior Mafia, not even Little Kim, none of them were signed to Puffy.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm gonna dispute you about Biggie because he made sure that none of them signed to Puffy because of what he was going through.
Yeah. Now he might have been smart enough to do that, and I think what would have happened was he might not have been able to rap anymore, but he would have made money off Junior Mafia.
I mean, he would have. So, I mean, that's a whole nother topic. But back to what you were saying, it goes back to what I was saying. That a lot of, and for some reason, when it comes to us Black people, when we're dealing with other Black people, we expect them to look out for our best interests, and it never happens. A lot of times when it comes to this music. Not all the time, but most of the time.
But that's the music industry. I mean, Black people have this weird thing that we're supposed to look out for each other, but at the end of the day,
that's a weird thing that we do have. Yeah, we have a weird thing that we're supposed to look out for each other because we're Black. And then when it doesn't work out like that, you already know what it is.
I understand why. Because for a long time, Black people, like, if we wanted to do better, we had to depend on each other. But we're in the situation now where you don't have to depend on your own to be able to make it and to make money. You can do it without that. And I think a lot of times, with us, going off topic, but going with us, we think that it's still like that when it's not necessarily like that. You can go out and make millions and, Like for example, Master P couldn't blow up he didn't blow up in New Orleans. He
Like he
went
blew
to
up in
Cali.
California.
Yeah, Little Kim. Nicki Minaj didn't really. She blew in New York a little bit, but she didn't
She
really
blew
start
up in the South.
She started dealing with Gucci Mane. You know, a lot like a lot of rappers are not. But that's a whole nother issue. But you know, a lot of times.
So I'm gonna say, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm gonna say this. Is it wrong? Is it wrong for Black people to feel like we owe each other something to each other?
Mm-hmm.
It's wrong?
Mm-hmm. I don't owe you a thing. Like I don't like. I feel like if I know you, it goes. But I don't like because what that turns into is, and a lot of rappers deal with this is when you with that whole I owe you something. Well, I don't owe you anything. I owe you. That's a hard thing to say because
Talk
if
your shit.
if you help me get there, that's cool. But once I get there, if you now become a problem, you're no longer beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's not being mean, and that's not saying I don't care for you, but you know, you hear Snoop Dogg say, you hear a lot of old rappers say, you know, I have friends that I love to death, but the way that they was moving was going to cause me to get fucked up, so I had to push them away. You know, you don't become a like that. That makes no sense. You know, if I'm making millions, why am I still hanging out with people that ain't making millions? You know, you gotta you can still have your friends and whatnot, but you still got to deal with people that's dealing in the same level that you're dealing with, because if not, you're not gonna grow, because you sitting here juggling millions of dollars and your man ain't dealing with nothing but pennies and nickels. It's kind of hard to have that conversation when you be like, oh man, you know, you got $1 million. You know, let me get, you know, 200,000 for this. You like, bruh. But when you get the people who have that kind of money, that's why you have to kind of, a lot of rappers say that, you know, they distance themselves from a lot of people and they deal with people who have that kind of money.
True. So do you think that ties in to with the whole lyric thing?
Yeah, because
Trying to be true to a lifestyle or a so-called culture that you got to be relevant to certain types to people to say that you still down.
well, Black people have always been like that. Black people have always, no, it doesn't matter if you're a rapper or anything. There's a bit of resentment, and rappers feel it more than anybody else. There's a bit of resentment when you make it out.
Yeah.
Because you could rap better or because you decided to put yourself in a position where you could make it. There's a lot of times where you are beholden to your you beat your struggle, but now the struggle wants you to still stay around. Oh, you don't come around like you used to. Well, nigga, you out here doing this and you doing that. I can't hang out with you. I'm taking care of more people now, and me taking care of you can't necessarily mean that I can be around you. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to do, to be like, yo, you my best friend, but you wild and you gonna jeopardize what I got going on. And there has to be a level of understanding on both ends.
So
Where
do you think if rappers that feel like that, if they were to rap about something different, could they still be true to where they came from?
yeah, I mean, but like I had an issue with one of my friends. They were doing gospel rap, and I wasn't doing nothing about being gospel. Nothing about me was saying I was doing that. And I felt personally, I was like, look, I love y'all to death, but I can't be around you because you're putting this message out, and they're looking at me and they're like, well, how in the world are you talking about? You changing people, but your man ain't changing. I still supported them, but I supported them from a background part because I understand how this thing works, how this machine works. And you have to be able to put your personal feelings aside. Yes, you my man, but what I'm doing ain't gonna help you, because if you helping me or you trying to get me out of there or you trying to find a new position for me to work at, but I'm still out here doing this, I'm putting you at jeopardy. So how is you helping me still jeopardizing your life?
Right.
You know, that's like saying if I'm out here selling drugs and you get $1 million deal, and I'm like, Ernest, I'm trying to hang out with you, but I'm still out here pushing drugs. You will be like, bro, I love you, but you can't be doing that because you gonna have me looking crazy.
Exactly. Exactly. So it goes back to what we initially started the conversation about these lyrics being used against them because they're trying to stay in a lifestyle and stay relatable to an environment that's not productive.
I mean, it's harder to do in the rap industry, but even in modern time, even in what I do, I know that there are just certain people I can't hang out with that I love to death because
Right.
they're doing things that are not conducive to me. Because if I'm hanging out with them and I get caught up, my job is not going to understand that.
That's not your job. So do you cut them off?
No, you don't cut them off, but you be like, look,
Why? Why?
You cut them off to a certain extent. You be like, hey, look, we can hang out, but we got to hang out in these places, and you can't be doing X, Y, and Z. You have to be able to set
But
boundaries.
then you're gonna have to cut them off though, because
At
then
a certain point, yeah.
hold on, because
Okay.
this is what I'm saying. So then when you do that, what they're gonna say is you changed. You being on some motherfucking bougie shit. You're not the same person no more.
No, I'm not the same person no more. Do you not expect me to grow?
That's what I'm saying. So then you have to cut those people off.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, everybody's not gonna understand that. I'll keep it a band with you. All your friends is not gonna understand the fact that you can't move the way you used to.
And the thing I'm getting to is the reason that I believe these rappers are rapping the lyrics that they're rapping. They're trying to stay true to an environment that they need to grow out of. They think they need to still stay grounded into that environment. Now what's happening is they're trying to stay so true to that environment that it's being used against them once they try to make it out. Because they're trying to stick to that. And that's why that shit is happening right now. Because a lot of people think that being real and keeping it real is being true to an environment that's not a positive outlook for you at the end of the day. And it hasn't been a positive outlook for anybody that they grew up with or was raised by.
Yeah, I've even dealt with that, with being called out, being like, you ain't being true to your roots or, whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm being true to my roots. It may not be the roots you agree with, and you may say I'm sold out or whatever, but you had the opportunity just like I did, and some of that is hatred. Some of that is hate where, we both made lyrics and we both were hot, but because I decided to make some smart decisions on my songs are hotter than yours, or, everybody had the same choice when they went to school, whether they're going to pay attention or not.
But what's selling out, though? What's selling out?
What's selling out for some people? Generally, what I heard when I heard selling out is.
Hold on. Before you answer this, I'm gonna say this. I want you to give me your opinion of selling out, and I want you to give me what you think other people's ideas, as far as us as Black men, ideas of what selling out is.
I feel like selling out is generally when you're not in the hood anymore, you're not hanging out smoking weed anymore. When you start,
hold on. That's your opinion? Or are you telling me the other people's opinion?
That's my opinion. That's from what I gathered.
That's your opinion of selling out.
No, I don't think people sell out. The only way, okay, my okay, my opinion of selling out is my opinion of selling out is if I'm doing something that is against me, but it's only benefiting me, and I don't care about anybody else. Selling out would be like if I hit the bank, if I hit $1 million and I just cut off everybody I ever fucking knew, and I just got a whole bunch of new friends, and I just never associated. That would be selling out. That's selling out to me. Selling out is when you're not living your truth, and you're not living your truth, and you're not acknowledging the stuff that you went through, or you just completely just not talking about it. You know what I mean?
I disagree. I disagree on that part.
I mean,
Now, I disagree. If that's your version of selling out, I disagree with it. My version of selling out is when you stop being true to who you are. When you say, I'm going to do this thing for amount of money, that's not who I am. To me, that's selling out. So if I understand who I am, and I'm going to put that shit to the side and be like, well, as long as I'm going to get some money, I'm going to be something else. To me, that's selling out. Just to get the payday, just to get the bag. Yeah. I'm going to go against who I am. That's selling out. And I'm talking about when I say who I am, I'm talking about who I really am, what I really care about, what I really feel that's right. And I'm finna go against those things, and I'm finna go against what the world says is right. I'm gonna go with what the world says right. I'm gonna do those things. To me, that's selling out. That's what I feel selling out is. I'm trying to stay true to something that's not really true to me. That's selling out in my view.
Yet again, I think that's true. Is when you start going against who you are by your personal nature. That's that is selling out. If you get a job with a bunch of different kind of people and you start acting different, and you're not being true, that is selling out. But I think a lot of other people selling out is, you don't come to the hood like you used to, or
that's not selling out. That's not selling out to me.
But
to me, that's not selling out because I ain't got to I don't have to come back to what I was trying to get away from. That don't make me selling out. I'm trying to get better.
That's the difference between you want to get out, you want to better yourself, and you just doing it, you just playing this role about somebody you're not. Like selling out would be like, you get a job, you're like, I never lived in the hood, or I see somebody who I always deal with, and I just look at them like, and they're like, whatever, I'm like, I don't know you. That's selling out. But when you make true yourself, you can be like, whatever, and we out here. I'm with my coworkers, I see one of my mans, I'll dap them up and give them a couple. That's not selling out. Selling out is if I was just chilling with you drinking last night, drinking 40s and laughing and joking, then I get to my job, we go to lunch, and I see you, and I like I never knew you. That would be selling out to me.
That's being fake. But I'm talking about when I say selling out, I'm talking about a motherfucker can give you $1 to make you not be yourself. That's selling out. Where you will fucking cash out on your people to show them at they worst just for $1. To me, that's selling out. Now, if I was drinking a 40 with you, and then all of a sudden I got some bread or something, and I switched up, that's being fake. But if somebody gave me some money and was like, here, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you this motherfucking money, and then you turn your back, that's selling out. You sold out. You sold something to gain something.
Yeah. But
that's the whole definition of the word. Sometimes people get the definition of the word selling out confused. When you sell out, that means you were bought.
Yeah.
You were bought against your principles. So to me, that's selling out. And sometimes these rappers sell the fuck out. A lot of these guys, once they wanted to make it, or they actually using some shit to make money, to sell out, to get paid. And they're using a certain type of lifestyle and fucking up their communities.
Yeah.
That's selling out. And
or
now
all this
that
selling
shit
out.
is being used. Hold on. I'm sorry. And that shit right now is being motherfucking used against them because they've been selling out their communities and not doing right by them and still trying to stay in the same type of shitty ass fucking lifestyle that they think is cool, that ain't never helped their neighborhood, and now it's coming to bite them in the ass because they sold the fuck out. And now you finna get sold the fuck out for real.
Now, okay. So then in that case, I gotta ask you a question. Rick Ross.
Fuck that fat boy. But go ahead.
Now, okay, so Rick Ross, I don't consider him a sellout.
Shit, Rick Ross is the biggest sellout.
I feel like he got exposed, but I don't feel like he's a sellout.
No, he's a sellout. And he's not a sellout because he was a motherfucking a CEO. He's a sellout because he's marketing a lifestyle that's not productive, that's not helping community that he says he's from.
But how though? But I mean,
because he perpetuating to say I'm a drug dealer and this is what I really do or this is what I really done. Bro, that's not even honoring. I don't know if Rick Ross was raised by his mother and his father, or maybe he was raised by his mother. Say he was just raised by his mother. That's not honoring her. That's not honoring her by coming off like that. You a fucking sellout. You going out for the fucking money. You a fucking sellout. So he's a fucking sellout. It don't have nothing to do with him being a CEO. It has to do with him perpetrating a fucking lifestyle that is bullshit.
Okay. I need to all right. Okay. The reason why I don't feel like he's a sellout for a couple different reasons. And these are all valid reasons in my book. One, I feel like everybody from his hometown knew what he was, right? Am I right?
Say that again.
Everybody in his city knew what he was, right?
Okay.
So everybody knew what he was, right?
Okay, everybody knew who he was.
Yeah, everybody in his city knew who he was. Everybody knew his history and knew that, whatever. And if he wasn't a good artist, and if his own city can look past what he did, or allegedly what he did, then what can I say? Because I mean, everybody in the city gave him a pass. So, and it wasn't like he went to New York and blew up. He blew up in his city with those credentials that he had. So
he's still a sellout.
But how?
He sold out. He sold out his whole fucking community, perpetrating a fucking lifestyle or selling a lifestyle for money that's not productive. That's wrong. You know what I mean? If you fucking look, selling your soul to the devil is basically selling out. That means it goes against the principles of what you stand for. Now, if those his principles, I don't want to fucking be a part of that shit. Fuck out of here.
Okay, I like Rick Ross. I've always put Rick Ross.
That's cool. You like him because you like his style, his raps, whatever. But the shit that he's saying in his motherfucking raps is bullshit. It's fucking selling out. It's perpetrating a lifestyle that is not productive to the people of the community that he fucking came from. He's a fucking sellout.
But not even. But okay. What is? But if Rick Ross is normally rapping about being luxury, like okay.
But how did he get that luxury?
are selling records.
No. When he raps about how he got his luxury, who is he? He the boss.
Yeah.
The drug dealing boss.
Okay.
Not the record selling boss. He's the drug dealing boss
Okay.
that's selling out your community. To tell me what
can't.
drugs can hold on. Can drugs do right by any community? White, black, or other.
No.
Have drug dealing ever done right by any community?
No.
Sellout.
I can't say that.
I'm waiting for you to tell me different to make me understand.
I mean, for me, it's no different than for me looking at Rick Ross as a rapper is no different than me looking at a wrestler. For me, that's where it boils down to for me.
Looking at it like a what?
A wrestler, it's no different. You present a fake image, and that I know damn well when I heard Rick Ross, when I heard him, I was like, oh, I know damn well you ain't doing this. I'm not stupid. Because if you were doing it on the level you claim you was doing it on,
the difference between a wrestler and Rick Ross is nobody's doing what the fuck a wrestler is doing. Motherfuckers is actually doing what Rick Ross is talking about. We know he fantasy. We know Rick Ross is fantasy because if it wasn't fantasy, he would be locked up. By now, they would have been locked his ass up too.
But then I go back to it. Even if it was whatever, people still rock with his music. So obviously, clearly, it's not doing him any problem.
But to me, you brought him up. To me, he's an example of a sellout.
I don't see him as a sellout. I see him as somebody. He reminds me, honestly, because I listen to a lot of his CDs. A lot of like after maybe his first CD, a lot of his music is about him just being him like in the luxury lifestyle. He's a luxury rapper.
Yeah, but he always say he got something to do with drug money. That's always there.
But we always know
it's always there. It's always there.
But I know he ain't get it from drug money. I'm not stupid. I don't care.
I know that, but that's always there. That's always present. Yeah, he's luxury, but that luxury comes from selling dope, selling drugs. Now listen, I'm not saying I'm not judging him, but I'm just giving you my definition of what a sellout is. And we can eliminate rappers. We can talk about a whole bunch of other motherfuckers who sell out. A lot of people sell out. They sell out because they perpetuate a lifestyle that people love to see. I love it. I love the movies. There's drug dealer rappers that I like too. So I'm not finna sit up here and act like I'm on a motherfucking high horse. But I know, these niggas selling out. They got a check for that shit. It pays. That's the definition of selling out. You know that shit is wrong. You know it's wrong, but you're gonna get some money for it. That's it. The key word about selling out is sell out.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's money. I sold it. I sold out. I sold out.
I don't think he sold. Personally, I don't feel like he sold out.
But I want you to listen. What I'm trying to get you to hear, and I know you got your opinion. What I'm trying to get you to hear is the words sold out, sell out. You selling something, right?
Yeah.
Want to make some money of it. You want it to sell out, right? You want your shit to be sold out to get some money.
I have my own personal issue with that whole sellout thing, especially when it comes down to black.
I'm talking about what the words mean about selling out.
Yeah, but that's still
and what are you willing to sell out?
So would most rappers be sell out?
All rappers, most rappers, not all of them, but majority, especially nowadays, because now even the most provocative raps are the most lucrative raps, are the most sold out raps. Because you want to sell your music, right? And in order to make money, you want that shit to sell out.
But I mean, I can't agree with that.
What?
I get where you're coming from. I get your logic. I get your logic. It makes sense. Like I'm not like let me say this to everybody out there. I'm not discrediting what my brother's saying. It makes sense. But the problem is, I could understand that. But my problem is this: if I lived that life, or I was around people that lived that life, I'm going to tell my story. And my story doesn't necessarily involve me actually doing it. My story could be me. CV4 was a prime example. You tell a story about people that you knew. And why am I not smart enough to know that? Like, I know Rick Ross wasn't doing it. It doesn't bother me. Does that mean I'm about to go out and try to sell a kilo of cocaine? No, I know better.
No, we're not talking about influence, but you just said it. You said, I know Rick Ross ain't really do it. That means he sold out. That means he went against his real story to tell another story because that's what sells. And so, hell, if that's what sells, I want to sell that shit out.
Honestly, he didn't start doing that. Honestly, I know what happened with him, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. And it was honestly, he took the beat. A lot of his like second CD was beats that Diddy wanted to give to Biggie, but Biggie had died, and he kept him. He kind of refined them a little bit. But that whole
to do with his lyrics.
No, not his lyrics. But that whole boss gimmick, the whole I'm a boss, whatever. That whole thing was supposed to be what Biggie was supposed to be doing.
No, Rick Ross came out said he was the boss. Motherfucking his first song was, "Who the fuck you think you talking to? I'm the boss, motherfucking Rick Ross. Every day I'm hustling." He said he was the boss in that song.
That shit was hard.
Yeah, it was. I liked it.
Look,
this is because I'm saying what I'm saying. Don't mean I don't enjoy certain shit, but I'm gonna recognize it for what it is. That motherfucking fat motherfucker sold out. He'll sell out. He'll sell out. He'll sell out.
Not my book, but all right.
He's a sellout. It made money. He sold out.
I mean, but a lot of people try to use that boss gimmick and it didn't sell out. I mean, he was able to put his words together and make people really rock with it. I can't be mad that he was able to put better lyrics together than other people who try to do the boss shit.
All right, so dig this, bud. Let's say I blew up tomorrow, right? I put a song out tomorrow and I blew up and I was talking about how I came up all fucked up or I motherfucking was out here selling drugs and cracking motherfuckers upside their head. And you my brother. You know me. And you're gonna be like, what the fuck? And it's blowing up though. Everybody believing it. Everybody rocking with it. This motherfucking Nick Nash is cold as hell. And you my brother though. You like, what the fuck? What you gonna say?
What am I gonna say?
Did I sell out? Did I sell out? Or I'm just making money?
I'm gonna say I probably would be like, look, now, this is cool, but eventually you're gonna have to live what you say.
No, I don't. Why do I?
Eventually,
I ain't never seen Martin Scorsese out here motherfucking with the Italians, fucking extorting goddamn unions and all that type of shit. What are you talking about?
But music is an art form, so why is it no different?
I'm not saying it is. What I'm saying is it's selling out. Even they sell out. Quentin Tarantino is a fucking sellout.
How do you sell out?
Because he's selling some shit.
I can't agree with this. Now I can't go that far.
What do you mean?
Because then everybody.
He's not selling something?
Yeah. He's selling quality stuff. Selling out is I can't say
but
that.
But he's selling bullshit, propaganda, and all that shit, right?
How is he selling bullshit propaganda? I mean, his movies are weird as fuck.
They dope. I love him. He's a sellout too.
Because he has the imagination to put things together that people won't put together, and he finds the people to make sure he's a leader. If anything, he's able to say, okay, I have this vision or something, and I want you to get it, and I can put you in the mind to get you to believe, make it believable. That's not a sellout. That's a genius.
That's genius?
Yeah, I mean, if I can come up with a story that ain't got nothing to do with black people, I've never lived it, but I can go and convey this to somebody and say, look, I need you to be in this kind of mindset. Then yeah, I mean, we all
But
know that. We all know
I'm
that.
asking, did he
Now,
give it away?
so
Did he give it away?
Did he give it away? No, he sold it.
Exactly.
But he didn't sell out.
He sold out.
No, he didn't.
Why he didn't?
How did he sell out? He
When
sold
you
out
go
at
to a movie, when you go to the movies, you go to the movies and you can't get a ticket, what do they tell you?
It sold out.
Exactly.
And you know what I'm gonna tell you? I'm gonna tell you like Metallica. Like I'm gonna tell you what Guns N' Roses told Metallica when they're like, you a sellout. They were like, you right. I'll sell out Madison Square Garden. I'll sell
Exactly.
out I go to.
I never said selling out was the wrong thing. I only described what selling out was.
But it's
and what it means.
But it's not a bad thing because it's made to be a bad thing, and that's the problem.
It can be sometimes.
But I mean, what are you supposed to do if this is your passion? If I write a best-selling book and a company want to buy it from me, fuck yeah, I'm gonna sell. Fuck yes, sell that shit. Put that shit out there. So am I a sellout?
It depends.
Is Kendrick Lamar a sellout?
It can depend.
Is Kendrick Lamar a sellout?
It can depend.
But wait,
you go against. Hold on. It can depend if you went against who you were as a person.
But I don't think Quentin Tarantino went against who he was as a person. I think he's a weirdo.
I don't know that. I just used him for an example. What I'm saying is, though, all of that shit is relative when it comes to being a sellout.
But then that goes back to this is why rappers are in the situation they're in now.
Yeah.
This is exactly why rappers, because of that whole sellout shit. They don't want to be a sellout, so they're gonna be like, I'm a drug dealer and I'm a drug dealer. I'm a killer. No, fuck that. Pretend. It's okay to pretend. It's fine.
Sellouts because they want to sell.
Oh, okay.
Sellouts.
Be a sellout. I will buy your CD every goddamn time and bump them words like I'm living in my damn self. Am I a sellout because I'm rapping Rick Ross on the way to work? I know I ain't never sold drugs. I know I never killed nobody, but shit. I will rap it like I did it. I wrote them lyrics myself.
I feel I get into that mode too. I get into that energy. I get into that spirit when I'm listening to what I listen to too. But at the end of the day, I'm finna fucking write some shit down and I'm finna spit what I'm finna motherfucking spit.
Yeah,
hold on. I'm not finna spit something that's not authentic to me to sell. Because if I didn't keep it authentic to me, then I'm a fucking sellout.
But then, technically, I will be a sellout then because I'm listening to music that is authentic to me. In theory, if you want to be honest, I have probably more in common with J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar than I do with Rick Ross. But I'd rather listen to Rick Ross. Does that mean I'm selling out who I am to myself?
No.
But it is. But I'm not listening. Listening to something that's real to me.
Are you portraying that image though?
Clearly, I
know. Are you going out here acting like that though to get money?
But they ain't acting like they are not acting like they are.
No, but are you acting a certain way? Even a J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar could be a sellout. Because they could be rapping that motherfucking shit that they're rapping and then turn around and be the totally opposite of what they're claiming. You're just doing that to make money. When you do something that's not true to yourself to make money, to me, in my opinion, that's when you are the sellout turn. When you're giving in to who you not to get money, that's when you selling out.
I mean, then I would say every wrestler is a sellout.
Every who?
Every wrestler is a sellout.
Hold on, man. I'll be right back. You motherfucking just want to. I'll be right back.
No, I got something.
I'll be right back. No, I'll be right back.
All right. the best wrestlers who make it take a little bit of themselves and they exaggerate it. Rick Ross, in theory, he is the boss. Now, he may not be a boss in drug dealing, but he's a boss. He's a successful boss. And we can't take that away from him.
So you trying to motherfucking...
Yep.
You trying to justify some bullshit.
No, I'm not.
Trying to justify some bullshit.
I'm not justifying no bullshit. This is real. This is real life. This is not a game. This is actual real life entertainment.
But Rick Ross is actually expressing things that are actually happening. Motherfucking a wrestler,
But he's not though.
A wrestler is talking about some soap opera shit.
A rap is a soap opera.
Huh?
Rap is soap opera.
Nah, but they saying I really did that shit. A wrestler
But you
ain't talking about I really did that shit.
Yeah, but we knew damn well Undertaker wasn't dead. Like,
But he never said he was really the Undertaker.
yes, he did.
He said he was the Undertaker. I've listened to interviews with that man, and he said I was playing the character. Rick Ross is like, I'm really that motherfucker.
But he is though.
That's the difference between rappers and wrestlers. A wrestler is
No,
saying,
it's not.
yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about? Rick Ross would be like, just because I was a CEO don't mean I wasn't moving no bricks. I was working with the motherfuckers in the inside. That was his fucking justification when people found out he was a CEO. Did anybody ever motherfucking be like John Cena, you ain't really this? And he's like, yeah, I am really that.
Okay, John Cena can really rap. John Cena can really rap.
No, did John Cena actually say, I'm fucking that fucking guy that I portray on wrestling? A rapper would be like, yeah, I really did that. I really lived that.
Yeah, but clearly, if Rick Ross was that fucking, if he wasn't doing some of the shit he said, niggas.
But he said he was though.
But yet again, people in Florida, where he blew up at, was okay with it. So clearly there was been some.
The difference is though, you try to compare wrestlers to a rapper.
You're telling me.
Hold on. A rapper will say, I really did that shit. I really was about that. A wrestler will tell you, hey, I'm doing this. That's not really me. A rapper will be like, no, motherfucker. Nowadays. Now, back in my time, hate to sound like the old, back in my time, back in my day, if you was a rapper and you said you really did some shit, if you really wasn't about it, you got pushed out. That's why you had groups like Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul, because you couldn't front. You had to be who the fuck you was. Now, all these rappers gotta be for real. I really did it. That's the difference. So you can't compare rappers and wrestlers. Wrestlers don't say, I'm really motherfucking slamming people who are goddamn cage on the regular. That's what I used to do.
No. I can agree. I can almost agree. But there was a time. No, hear me out. So Bob Backlund refused to drop the belt to Hulk Hogan. Do you know why?
You said Bob Backlund.
Yes, Bob Backlund had the title and they wanted him to drop the Hulk Hogan. Do you know why he wouldn't drop the Hulk Hogan?
He didn't want to give it up to him. I remember watching the documentary.
Yeah, but why did he say it? And I know why he said it.
Okay, why?
He said because he wasn't legitimate.
He wasn't legitimate in that profession.
It's
not the same thing, bro.
Yes, it is. You gotta be like, he was like, you're not legitimate. I can't drop the title to somebody who's not legitimate. Oh, like the other time in wrestling, you had to be what the fuck you was.
No, you had to be about what you was as far as that profession. That don't
And
mean
he wasn't.
Hold on. Who I am in this profession don't mean that's who I am in my personal life. That's the difference. A rapper will say, this is who I am in my personal life too. When I'm rapping about in my personal life is the same thing.
And okay, look, and
the wrestlers ain't the same motherfuckers in their personal life that they are when they get on camera and talk that shit.
It's
They're
never Brock.
playing a character.
Brock
Some of
Lesnar.
these rappers don't want to say, I'm playing a character.
But
Now they want to say, that's who I am. And that's why these motherfuckers are getting hit off of their lyrics. Because they saying, this is who I really am.
all right, I can give you a prime example of today's wrestler who was really living his gimmick and really was really about Brock Lesnar.
What about it?
The reason why Brock Lesnar was so popular when he came back the second time because they were like, no, you really fight. Really is a fight motherfucker. They respected his legitimacy. And that's the reason why he was still getting money today in WWE. It wasn't because he was some fucking great wrestler because his matches were kind of whatever. But because he knew that they knew like, okay, we've seen you in the octagon where real fighting happens. This is why, yet again, going back to real rap, he will be a real rapper because like I really fight. I will go to the UFC and I will go put hands on somebody, whether I win or lose. He was legitimate, and that's why people were fucking with him, and that's the reason why he was able to do what he did in WWE on his second run. Now people in the comments, look, me and my brother been arguing about this for about a good hour. I want to hear what y'all got to say because I would say Brock Lesnar is more like the street rappers now than a lot of the other wrestlers. Rick Ross will be the other wrestlers. Brock Lesnar will be a real street wrestler because he really went out there. He really went to the UFC.
So is Rick Ross selling drugs right now?
Huh?
Is he selling drugs?
That boy is selling Wingstop.
No, is Rick Ross pushing weight, kilos
of chicken.
No, he didn't say no. He said he pushing keys of that weight.
I would need to listen to his last CD.
Oh shit! What the fuck? How you gonna say something you ain't heard nothing?
No, I listened to his last CD. I listened to it. I haven't listened to it in a while. Let me listen to it again, and I will be able to give you the statement.
Well, he's a bad example. Then, if you can't give him nothing now, I don't want to hear it. If a motherfucker talking about they selling dope, if he's saying he just pushing wings, then fine, cool. I'm cool with that. If Rick Ross just rapping about I'm pushing wings and I got horses on my shit and I'm doing that and that's what it is, and he ain't got nothing to say about dope, fine. But if he's still talking about, nigga, I'm moving weight, fuck all that. That nigga's selling out. He fake as fuck.
Mm.
And he lucky that he ain't finna get motherfucking indicted on no motherfucking bullshit.
They ain't nothing to indict him on because he ain't doing shit.
Exactly. This shit is fantasy.
That's fine. I'm fine with fantasy.
He's selling a fucking image to sell out, to get paid.
I don't care. Sell the image. It don't bother me. It's never gonna bother me.
Just sell out. Just sell out.
He what?
He'll sell out.
Rick
Ross is a sellout.
And he would get every last inch of my selling out. Every time he sell out, I would buy
that's fine. I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
But he's a sellout. That's my definition of a sellout. When you go against, when you lie to get money, you're a sellout. Like when you blatantly lie. I ain't talking about acting. I'm talking about when you lie and say that you're something that you're not. That's selling out. That's the best example of selling out I have. When you lie about who you are for money, you sell out. Okay. That's selling out. That's the best way. It took this much for me to go ahead and say that. When you lie about who you are as a person for money, you're a sellout.
All right. Listen, I got 4% on my phone, so I think we got the edit right here.
I bet.
I've enjoyed the conversation.
This was a good one. I wish we could have went longer. You need to charge your phone up next time.
I did. I had like a 90%. We've been going at it.
All right. So this has been a Power 7 podcast. Once again, we got it in. It's me, the almighty Nicodemus, and
The Villan.
And we out.
We out.
Peace.
All right, bro. Thanks. I had a blast on this one.
All right, bro.
I took my stress away, and I needed this. Thanks, bro. I'm gonna have to.
Same. Hey, likewise. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking my stress away too.
All right, bro. We're gonna get up again next weekend. We're gonna figure out something. All right.
Definitely.
All right, bro.
All right, bro.
Peace.
Peace.
What's going on, podcast world? It's your boy, the Almighty Nicodemus, wanting to let you know about my new podcast, the Power 7 Podcast, featuring my brother, the Villan, where we give you our insights and our take on sports, film, music, and TV shows. Be sure to check us out on the Spreaker Network and all digital platforms where podcasts are available. Also, be on the lookout for my other podcast, the Beer, Beats, and Eats Pod, where we talk about beer, beats, and eats. We taste different beers from IPAs to stout while listening to user-submitted music while chowing down on some of the local eats in our area. So check us out on the Spreaker Network and on digital platforms where all podcasts are available.